Test. Well, good evening, everyone. It is about 6:40 on Tuesday evening, and hope everyone stayed warm today. It has been a cold one. It has been a frozen one, and unfortunately, our frozen weather will continue at least one more day, and probably quite a few other days. And boy, that is not working the way I want it to. Let me try this. Uh, well, okay. Well, we're just gonna go here. Okay. Well, my one page didn't work, and so we'll go to the next one. Oh, the beauty of live streaming. All right, well, that's our temperatures out there this evening, early this evening. 27 at the big airport, 27 in Rockwall, 27 in Denton, 26 in McKinney, 27 in Fort Worth. So you can see the 27s are quite common. Hello, Lori. How are you doing, ma'am? So it's gonna be another cold one. It's gonna be probably bottom out in the mid 20s. On the low end, it'll probably be mid to upper 20s. And tomorrow is not looking really good, I hate to say. So let's just dive right into that. And we'll get, like I said, hopefully my technical difficulties won't keep going. And we'll get over here. We go. And there we go. Okay, so the one added element that we have not had is a ice storm warning. Now, the ice storm warning is not for Dallas or Collin County. It is for Denton County and Tarrant County and points west, as you can see, Wise, Jack, Palo Pinto, Parker. So if you do live out in those areas, or you do know people or your relatives that live out in that area, just not that they don't know that winter weather is going on, but just let them know that they may see a lot more freezing rain tomorrow than we see here in the Eastern Metroplex. It is something that it's a little concerning, not terribly concerning. It's just that today is a good example. So this morning we had a thundersleet. Hopefully y'all all heard that. I'm sure you did. Thundersleet is not a very common occurrence around here, so it is something that you don't hear very often and see very often. So I hope you enjoyed that. Tomorrow morning, and really probably more into tomorrow early afternoon, we'll get to that in a second, but we'll probably see the next round of heavy precipitation move in. And the thought is that our atmosphere will warm a little bit, and it'll be a little bit more of a freezing rain event than sleet. And unfortunately, when you get the freezing rain, that coats everything in a little layer of ice, and that's everything from the road to your trees to power lines. And we do tend to get a lot more power outages when we have icing on the power lines and trees, and sometimes the trees get so heavy they fall on power lines, and so that knocks out power. I don't know that we're looking at a devastating ice storm. Hopefully not, but it is something that's concerning, like I said, because not only it makes it impossible to drive. Today, I wouldn't recommend driving, but at least you had a chance. If it does freezing rain like we think, then you won't have much of a chance. I will say that. All right, so let's go on here to our other slides and kind of give you an idea. So dangerous travel, that's kind of goes without saying that tonight, all day tomorrow, and into early Thursday. That's what's going to get tricky because we may be seeing travel problems into early Thursday morning. All the schools are closed tomorrow. Thursday is going to be interesting because we could warm up a little bit on tomorrow afternoon. I don't think we're going to get above freezing, but we could. That would help a little bit, but then whatever happens will refreeze on Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, which won't help things out a lot. We'll know a lot more this time tomorrow. So the timing, again, we're starting at 6 o'clock tonight. DFW Metroplex is on top. Again, it's all red, just confidence that we'll have travel impacts. Again, that's kind of a duh thing. May let up a little bit tomorrow evening, and then you see the red again at midnight on Wednesday night, Thursday morning into noon on Thursday. That's kind of the pessimistic view. Again, that's all going to depend on how much precipitation we get tomorrow, and what form it's in. That's going to be the tricky part about Thursday morning. And again, as I mentioned, power outages for western North Texas is a possibility, so it's something that we definitely want to keep an eye on. And again, just to kind of give you a bigger picture, this is the expanded North Texas view. Everything in the pink is the winter storm warning, so that's for Dallas County and Collin County. Everything in the purple is the ice storm warning. That's Tarrant, Denton, Johnson. I couldn't think of the one below Tarrant. And, so it's, so it doesn't mean everything's going to come down west of us, but it's definitely has a higher chance for seeing freezing rain, which will definitely cause many, many more problems. And so I want to explain this process a little bit. So this gets a little complicated, but bear with me. So I get a lot of questions about this. So, you got these 4 types of precipitation. You have snow, which is pretty easy to explain because it's cold from the ground all the way up into the clouds, cold enough for snow. And snow falls in the clouds and it hits the ground as clouds. So pretty simple. Sleet, what we saw today is they have a little layer of warm air between the snow coming out of the clouds. It will melt those snowflakes into rain. And then, of course, it's cold enough, deep enough from the ground up to where it'll refreeze into sleet. That's what we saw today. Tomorrow is kind of the second left from the end column, freezing rain, where that warm air is going to expand and the snowflakes are going to melt, and then it's going to be so warm close to the ground that they won't have a chance to freeze into sleet. And then, of course, there'll be liquid rain. We call it supercooled rain. Will hit the surface. Of course, everything on the surface is below freezing, and that's where you get problems because it'll freeze on contact. And that's where you get the layer of ice, the glaze of ice. And when you see that on roadways, you can't drive on it. When you see it on power lines, typically on the power line itself, it's not a big problem, but then if it gets heavy enough, it'll weight the power line down, snap it. And then, of course, trees next to power lines can get so heavy and snap and fall on power lines. And that's where you get power knocked out, and that's not a good situation to be in. And then, of course, at the very end, the whole column of air is warmer above freezing. And of course, it rains. So the snow still falls from the clouds initially, but then it's warm all the way to the surface. Surface is above freezing, and of course, it falls as rain. Now, what you're seeing here, and the reason there's an ice storm warning in western North Texas, I'll go back to that graphic. The reason there's ice storm warning there is because the layer of warm air is anticipated to be thicker, closer to the ground. And the other thing we have to keep in mind, too, is that, the cold front that we are dealing with went through Sunday morning. So we've had this cold front around for a couple of days. Tomorrow, when this disturbance moves through, our atmosphere is going to be in the process of transitioning back to a normal, in this case, tomorrow, early February atmosphere, to where you're going to see much more moisture in the air, and then this cold air is going to start to modify a little bit. So you have the cold air modifying, and then you have this moisture coming from the Pacific, which is where this is coming from. It's just going to combine to create a mess because surface temperatures, while they're warming, they'll still, for some areas, they'll still be below freezing. And now, instead of being 26 like it is right now, it could be 30. It could be 31. And that's still a mess because it's below freezing. So that's the trickiness, and that's because it's warmer than it is today, and the atmosphere will moisten up a little bit. Then that's where, instead of having sleet, we'll have freezing rain, and that's a problem. Now, and of course, the further east and northeast you are, the chances tomorrow is you'll see more sleet than freezing rain. That's the hope, anyway. But I think no matter where you are in North Texas, you will see sleet and freezing rain mix at the very least. You may see more freezing rain and sleet, certainly more than you did today, that's for sure. And let's go to, speaking of which, let's just go to the radar here and figure out what we got as far as current conditions. Okay, so this is the broad view. This is on the reflectivity mode. And as you can see, not a whole lot going on. Although we do see some returns down southwest of Dallas-Fort Worth here, southeast of Abilene. And if we put this into motion, we will see that it is moving in our general direction here. And we'll get this going here. There we go. So we had some heavier sleet showers earlier, but again, most of the activity today has been moving east, northeast, as you can see. So as we get into the overnight hours, we'll probably see some light returns. This is not really the main show we're talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll see the main show, which unfortunately will probably be more freezing rain than sleet. But overnight tonight, just light returns. And we stop this and go to what I call the winter weather mode. Again, you can see it shows up as freezing rain in the pink, and it's, like I said, that's not a good thing, but nothing really to be concerned about. Of course, not anybody's really traveling tonight anyway, so it's not an issue for travel. Although if you're an emergency worker or first responder, first of all, bless you for that. Second of all, if you have to get out, I know you just be really careful, because it's just not going to get any better. And all right, so let's go back to reflectivity here. There we go. Okay, so the bottom line is this. Tonight, obviously no need to travel. There's no reason to do that, obviously. Tomorrow morning, no reason to travel. Really, anytime tomorrow, really, no reason to travel. Like I said, the thing we're going to have to watch out for is the predominant precipitation type going to be freezing rain or sleet. I think, unfortunately, it's going to be freezing rain. That's going to cause a lot of problems. Now, let's look in the future a little bit. We have Thursday morning coming up. Depending on what it does on on Wednesday night, Thursday morning could be okay, or Thursday morning could be a mess. We'll know a lot more at this time tomorrow. The best case scenario is that we get some freezing rain tomorrow. The rain actually transports some warm air down to the surface and actually warms us up more than we think, which a couple models show that. And then obviously we would potentially have some refreezing overnight, Wednesday night, Thursday morning, but it might not be too bad. The worst case scenario would be we get a lot of heavy precipitation tomorrow in the form of ice. And when you do have a lot of ice on the ground, that will tend to keep the temperature down anyway. So then that would definitely make Thursday morning a mess. And so that would probably be the worst case scenario. Not to mention the fact that if we do have a lot of ice tomorrow, then unfortunately some people are going to lose power. So that's something that we're definitely going to have to watch. But like I said, let's hope it's not as bad as it could be from an icing standpoint. And then, believe it or not, Friday, going to be the 50s, Saturday, 60s, Sunday, upper 60s. So, hey, how about that? The weekend's going to actually be really nice. We just got to get there first. All right, so let me look at your comments here. I know there's a few. Let's see here. Yes, you're welcome to everyone that has said thank you. I appreciate you very much. Let's see. Angela, you're certainly welcome. Let's see. Tristan, we have to drive to the Ag Barn by Founders Park to feed the FFA animals tomorrow morning. And evening, is there a better time to go? Boy. No. If you have to feed them in the morning, which they need to be fed, and you have to feed them in the evening, Oh well, okay. If there's a choice, ugh, boy, I guess if I had to pick between the two, I would say in the evening. And the only reason I say that is because the conditions right now on the roads are, the sleet is already frozen over in ice, so that's something that it's not going to be very good to travel on tomorrow. Now, if it freezing rains a lot, then that won't make it any better. However, if we do have the little bit warmer scenario, then that would be a better situation to drive in tomorrow afternoon. So I guess if you made me pick right now, I would tell you it would be tomorrow afternoon. I would do that. So hopefully that answers your question. And thank you for taking care of those animals. Let's see. I don't think I see anything else, but let me check my other channels here. I don't see any. And nope. And I do try to multicast here, so it's to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch if you're on those channels. B, you're welcome, no problem. So as I said, so here's the thing. So if you live further west, or your friends or relatives that live Denton County, Tarrant County, Johnson County west, you're basically going to see potentially more icing tomorrow. If you live in Collin County, Dallas County, Ellis County, then again, you're going to see some icing tomorrow. There's no doubt. It's just that hopefully it'll be more of a sleet, less freezing rain. But here's the thing: these winter weather scenarios are very hard to predict. I think that we've done a pretty good job so far. But as far as when our atmosphere starts modifying, which that's going to start doing tomorrow, the first part of the day is definitely going to be colder, so there's no doubt about that. But as we get into the afternoon, how much are we going to warm up? And let's see if I can do this. I meant to load up some of my models, but I did not do that, so I'm going to do this on the fly here. So bear with me just 1 second, because I want to show you what some of these models are predicting for tomorrow. So if you don't know, we have longer term models and then we have short term models. And so I'm going to focus on the short term models here. Kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Let's go here. And I meant to load these up, so my apologies. All right, so... Oh, thank you, Patty. I appreciate you. The little science lesson I had. All right, so I'm going to try this here. Let's see if we can get this to... All right, so I'm going to change my source. I'm probably going to pick the wrong one, but let's see. Yep. That's a very technical look. There we go. All right. So we'll do this on the fly. So this is a model that shows the temperature. This is all 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So this is the colder model. And I know the temperatures are hard to read, but it's showing 28 degrees. If that's the case at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, then yeah, it's going to be a mess. However, if we go to one of our warmer models, I'm trying to remember which one it was. I think it might be that's at 30, so it's a little warmer. Which one was that? This is kind of what I'm hoping for. Well, that's 26, so we're definitely going the wrong way. 27. Well, and you can tell why the forecast is what it is that, they think it's going to be ice all day tomorrow because of the temperature forecast. Let's see. Let's get over here to 5 o'clock tomorrow. I think this is our warmer. Yeah, this is definitely our warmer model. Okay, so this is 5 o'clock on tomorrow, 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. So if you could see that, then that's 35 degrees. Man, if we're at 35 degrees tomorrow evening, then we are golden. I promise you that. I don't know if I buy this model, but this is an HRW model. But boy, sure would be nice. Okay, so if we look at the predicted, I don't want the radar. Let's do the precipitation type. Okay, so this is our warmer model. So let me get over to tomorrow at 5 p.m. I just kind of wanted to show you this contrast. All right, let's see here. Da, 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 da. And there we are. Okay, whoops. Okay, so that's 5 o'clock on this warmer model, the HRW. As you can see, if you can't see Dallas Fort Worth, it's kind of right here. We're in the green, so there is that. And then you see the red pinkish to the west. That's why they're thinking of the ice storm warning, the freezing rain. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why you have an ice storm warning issue for them, is because it's just all the models show that this is a warm model. So if you go to one of our colder models, HRRR, which is one of our fun models for severe thunderstorms, by the way, but it does a pretty good job in cold weather too. So if we go to tomorrow at 5 o'clock, go over here, go back one. Yeah, so see, it's showing a mess. Now what's interesting though is you see the green is just east of Dallas Fort Worth. So again, if that line's just a little bit more to the west, then we could be a lot better off. So that's just, that's why there is some hope. Thank you, Misty. Appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. Amy's my wonderful neighbor down the street. And, if anybody could verify the weather, it'd be her. And, that's not the screen I wanted. Let's go back here. Let's see here. Well, let's do this. Okay, that does not work. Let's try this. No, don't want that one either. There we go. All right. Yeah, see, when you do things on the fly, it's it could get tricky, that's for sure. Okay, so here's the bottom line, and let me check my other channels here real quick to make sure I'm not missing any comments anywhere else. Nope. Okay. Facebook is my definitely my more popular social media channel, that's for sure. Okay, so the bottom line is this: tonight, don't get outside, don't travel. Tomorrow morning, don't travel. Now, depending on when the weather comes in, which will probably be a little bit later, I don't think it's going to be first thing in the morning like it was this morning. It's probably going to be freezing rain more than sleet. It's just looking that way, unless something really changes, which I don't see that. Now, I think the classic question is when or if the freezing rain that we're probably going to get is going to transition into rain. I think the further east you are, maybe East Texas, Greenville, Canton, things like that, I think you'll see that earlier in the day. If that freezing line ever backs up far enough to the west, then I think that's where we would see conditions potentially improve for at least part of the Metroplex. Again, I think that's why the ice storm warning is further west, because that freezing line is probably not going to get that far anyway, and then the predominant precipitation type will be freezing rain. Oh, Andrew, you're on Facebook today. Yeah, Andrew is usually on YouTube, so that's what I was looking for, and that's why I went over there to make sure I wasn't missing his comment. But again, that's why I multi-stream, so I can cover all the platforms. And then Thursday morning is highly dependent upon what happens Wednesday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon. That's just, there's no other way to look at it. If Wednesday, tomorrow afternoon is a little better than we think, then Thursday morning won't be so bad. If it's a little worse than we think, or kind of what the forecast is officially, then Thursday morning is going to be a mess. And as far as what that means for closures, who knows? But that we're a little far out for that. But like I said, I think tomorrow afternoon, after noon, between noon and 6 p.m., I guess you could say that we would have a much better idea of what Thursday morning is going to be like. But having said all of that, probably starting Thursday at noon at the very latest, we're going to get out of this mess. And like I said, I think Thursday, if we're lucky, we may get temperatures near 40. Again, that depends on how much ice we get tomorrow. And then, like I said, Friday's 50s. Saturdays are 60s, and this will be a distant memory, hopefully, for most of us if we can just get through that. Okay, well, that's it. I think that's all the comments I have. Everybody stay warm tonight. Everybody just, like I said, catch up on your Netflix shows, read a good book, sit in front of the fireplace if you have a fireplace, and just enjoy the evening because it won't be that much longer in the big scheme of things where it's going to be hot and everybody's going to be upset about being hot. That's a long way away. Gotta have tornado season before that, and hopefully no tornadoes anywhere near us. That's for sure. All right. So with that, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Stay warm, and we'll talk to you soon.